Tonight, Christina Carswell hosts an all-new episode of The Lounge. The following program may contain mature material some viewers may not find suitable. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's The Lounge with Christina Carswell. Tonight, Christina welcomes Alex, also known as Axel, from the channel Swathed, Sarah from the channel Lyra Kylerin, and Sean, a professional QA video game tester. And now, here's your host, Christina Carswell.
Welcome to The Lounge on TOONDISE. I'm your host, Christina Carswell. Today we're going to talk about some sci-fi stuff that it may be possible in the coming future, seeing if technology keeps leaping bounds as it has.
Boba Fett is my favorite Star Wars.
What do you think about extending your life?
Like in what means?
Like, let's say you're about to die. And they have come up with this technology where they can take your brain, your personality, not physically, but let's say like digitally, and transport it into another being for you to live on.
Another being.
Like upload it to a computer.
Like are we talking about like an android robot, or are we talking like Transcendence with Johnny Depp, where he uploads his brain to the internet?
No, not to the internet, but like basically plugging you into like another like flesh suit.
Flesh suit.
Yeah. But you don't die right away. You just upload your consciousness to this other, like, basically doll, and then you live on through them.
So like a real doll?
No. It's hard to...
No. It's funny because you pose this question, but this technology is actually being developed right now. And it's basically... right now, Japan has like... They're working on AI, essentially, but if they ever get this whole brain digitizing thing off the ground, then what's not to say if they have a perfect humanoid robot, or a perfect-looking humanoid robot, and you can upload your brain to that. Well, basically, you're saying, would you upload your brain into a different vessel, but you would still have your memories and your thoughts? Is that actually life?
But is that actually you, though?
That's another question.
Because my question is, like, if you're on the brink of death and you're like a vegetable, or almost a vegetable, and you're like unconscious, and then they just last resort save your life by uploading your brain into like an android host.
Actually, now that's a bit of a misconception if you think about it. Because more than likely what would happen there is it's not you that's being uploaded, but instead a copy of you.
Yeah,
so you're kind of still lying there like, well, fuck.
Well, that's what I'm about to get to, right? If you weren't on the deathbed, let's say you just decided one day that you wanted an android body, and you buy an android and all the equipment to upload your brain into the android, but you don't kill your body, and your body remains conscious, you would then would you not then see the android start acting and talking like you, and then you would still be in your body going, well, that didn't work.
Well, no, but here's the thing, though, is that if let's say like you created a copy of your brain, and you are not a deathbed, like you would not be linked to that thing. You wouldn't be able to register and go like, oh, that's me over there.
No, that's what I mean. It's like you're sitting there still in your body, and then the copy of your mind gets uploaded into the android,
but
and you're looking at the android, and you're still in your body, and you're just like, but my brain is I'm supposed to be over there now, but the android is acting on its own, and it's not. I'm not controlling it.
Well, no, because that would never be the case, because it's not a matter of you controlling the android at all, even though if your body is in a vegetative state or not. The fact is that you have created a copy.
Well, yeah,
that's exactly
what I'm saying.
But the thing is that unless they told you that android has your memory, like all the android would then have is your memories. Because, and this is the thing, is that until artificial intelligence or a brain calculator that can calculate like the human brain, it will never be able to emulate emotions. It will never be able to emulate irrational logic, which humans are like one of the only things capable of doing. Like we could create a computer and say we'll create artificial intelligence with a random element, but it still has to operate within its parameters until you mix the human element in, and humans do things irrationally, which go against programming.
Okay, so Sean, just imagine for a second that there is a form of AI that
and
can do those things.
All those hurdles have been bridged. All those hurdles been hopped. That's the question here.
It would cease to be you, though.
Yeah, exactly.
If you uploaded your brain to an Android bot, it would then start thinking a different thought process than you would at that moment. So if the robot physically looked like you, that would be weird. If you're just uploading into like either like some faceless Android or like whatever, they do some sort of like uncanny valley like kind of looking skin where they can look like a real human, like synths from Fallout.
Yeah, but they're clearly not human. Yeah.
But the third gen synths in Fallout look like humans. That was the whole moral debate in Fallout.
Let's have Alex talk for a second.
So wouldn't this kind of be like more like a fork? If you're familiar with GitHub terminology, right, or Git?
Yeah, it would create a fork in the timeline.
That's right. Yeah, well, not even the timeline. It's more of a fork of your collective, right? If you were to create a copy, if you were to have you played Soma?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert for anyone else who's listening. The whole idea there was that you're sitting in the command chair, and it's just kind of taking a copy or a scan of your consciousness, and with that scan, they can recreate your personality as an AI, right? But in effect, what you're doing is you're forking from yourself, and while the initial point of that fork is pretty much you at the exact moment, at that point, your experiences can vary, right? That's the point you're trying to get at.
Yeah, the copy of you that you created to be put into that artificial thing is not really you. It's just a copy that thinks it's you.
So my question is, based off all this, would you do it?
No.
If you had the option to have this happen to you, would you partake?
No.
With my knowledge of Linux terminology, basically be forking up a bunch of children. The most important thing is that before I wake up again, all the children have to die or they become zombies.
Wait, what?
That was a Linux joke that went over everyone else's head but mine. I would do it because science. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah, but what if
I would do it?
But what if you woke up in your normal body and you saw the robot with your copy brain in it, and you're just like, and you sort of this realization. Oh, that's
I said
not
this
really
earlier and no one listened. I said the moment you copied the brain into a robot brain, even if it was, it's no longer you.
Yeah.
It's just someone has the same memories as you. And that's where collective the theory of collective consciousness comes in, where people can experience the same. Humans don't remember things like we think we do.
Oh yeah, our memory is crap.
Like it's not about memory itself. It's the fact that I can have an experience in my life because humans remember things based on how it made us feel in that moment. We might not have exactly
or the smell or the taste or the touch.
We remember by sensory recall. So we might not necessarily remember a thing with exact detail as to what happened when. This even happens to people who survive traumatic attacks. Like if you ask the people who survived Columbine, when they got interviewed right after it happened like a few hours ago, so they remembered exact details. But if you ask a lot of the people that survived it now, they remember what happened. Some might remember full details because they have a definite recollective memory, but a lot of people will remember like, oh, like the guys came in, they shot, I got under the table. Like
the fragments.
They remember fragments because either their adrenaline was through the roof at that point and it clouded their memory, or fear took over, or something. So even if you uploaded your brain, or like all that you would be uploading is your memories.
Yeah, it wouldn't actually be you.
It wouldn't actually be you. It'd be someone else who has your memories.
You know, it's actually kind of interesting when you look at it, because your robotic copy will be far more capable of retaining the details of everything they experience. Because for us, the big thing that this is where the wear out comes from is the use of the synapses, right? The points that kind of piece things together. So if you don't use something or don't keep remembering those pieces, eventually they'll just fade off and die. If I remember correctly.
Because they're not being used yet.
The brain essentially works like how TRIM works in computers. And for a little bit of tidbit of computing science for everyone listening here, TRIM basically works as it's a piece of technology for solid states, so that normal hard drives get fragmented after a while when you like erase and delete files and stuff like that. There's fragments of those files left all over your hard drive, and eventually you just get like this like clusterfuck of all these scattered files everywhere, and the hard drive has to then work harder to like remember where the pieces of the files are, and things just get messed up. TRIM was introduced so that, let's say you instead of tiny sectors on a hard drive, they took blocks of memory on the solid state. And if something wasn't occupying a block, TRIM would then immediately clear that block and organize things so that there was always a empty space at the end. Instead of tiny specks of empty space scattered all over, it just kind of reorganized everything.
Everything that belongs to one file is all in order. Is in order, but all the files on the solid state are congruent. They're in one big block, but each file has its own separate smaller blocks. The brain kind of works the same way. Axel was really close with the whole synapses, and if you don't use it, you lose it. But because humans we're constantly learning little tidbits, little trivia, stuff that may seem inconsequential at the time, our brain is always rewiring synapses as fast as it can to try and make connections to something that we need to remember. So it's always overwriting old data or reusing old synapses. Brain freeze?
No. I'm trying to explain this in like layman's terms for a lot of people who might be watching this. It basically, the human brain is just always constantly rewiring itself. It doesn't. You don't lose a synapse. It's just the brain uses it for something else instead. So computers would be able to you're right, they'd be able to recall a lot of specific things. However, then you start getting into how computers would store an infinitely expanding amount of data. Because as the computer would go day to day, or as the android would go day to day living real life, he'd be experiencing new things. He'd be he/she, whatever. I don't discriminate, whatever. I'm just using an example because I'm a guy. But he would experience things on his own, and then have to store that information. And unless we'd get some AI sort of cyclical hard drive.
That's okay. So now you've got an AI that's constantly storing information to the point that their hard drive's getting full. So some smart ass going to come along and go, we should probably put in a compression algorithm, maybe get rid of useless memories. Boom! They're just like us again.
No, they're just like TRIM.
Yeah.
Or they're not us at all.
Rampancy.
But the thing is that you would have to create a program, or you would have to create an AI that would be able to differentiate what is useful and what isn't useful. And that, to me, is the biggest limitation in creating a perfect human AI kind of situation.
Because humans don't just keep useful memories. They keep unuseful memories because they're sentimental.
Well, no,
not
like,
just because they're sentimental.
You don't need that information.
It's just tidbits of trivia. Like I'm a walking encyclopedia of music, but will I ever use that in my real life? No.
The thing is though, like we don't keep memories because of sentiment or anything like that. It's literally just based on how often we recall them.
Yeah, like but you could hold on to a sentimental memory for sentimental purposes.
There's certain memories like humans will latch onto because sentiment is an emotion.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So and that causes you to recall it more. But if you don't...
No, it's because we latch humans latch onto certain emotions. Everyone latches on, there are people with anger issues who latch onto angry memories more often than not. It's why PTSD is a thing, because it's a traumatic experience where the emotions that they felt were so strong in that moment that it causes issues down the road.
Yeah.
It's not the emotion.
And they're not trying to hold on to that shit.
It's we remember it because of our attachments to the emotion.
That's what I'm saying is we don't consciously try to keep memories. That's all done in
And again, that's the
background of our minds.
That's the human subconscious, and that to me is another limitation of artificial intelligence.
So, how would you feel? Like, I know we're being a dead horse with this topic, but how would you feel if you were sitting there and you woke up one day and there was a copy of you in
I would
say a copy of your body? You would kill it, but it is in itself a new being.
I wouldn't kill it.
I wouldn't kill it.
So you'd commit murder.
If it was an artificial like android thing, I would kill it. Well, it wouldn't be killing; it'd just be destroying it because it's an artificial.
No, because now it's not a human being.
No, I said new being.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I heard human.
Proto being.
But then that gets into the But then that gets into the debate of what constitutes a person.
Well, no. So you're looking too deep into this. If you suddenly woke up one day and there was a copy of yourself, now you can be in two places at once.
No. You'd still be in one place at once.
I'd flip out and
people
kill
think
it.
you're in two places.
Yeah, the world would think you're in two places at once.
Exactly. With enough cooperation between yourself and this proto being that is a copy of yourself, you should be able to accomplish the goal that every twin out there, or triplet, or whatever.
The thing is, though,
that out there has accomplished.
Unless you can do a link thing where you're constantly exchanging memories back and forth, and you're essentially and you can sort of link your consciousness with that thing, that wouldn't be as useful as you're thinking.
You're making it too complicated again.
No. I have two words for you. I have two simple words for you. Orphan Black. Go watch that show. It's literally what you're describing right now.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, no. That'd be the only way that I would not kill it, is if it was an android that I could link my consciousness with and constantly have me. So
the only reason why you wouldn't kill it is if it had a use for you.
It's an android. It's nothing but.
But it's a being at that point.
Robot,
it has
memories. It has feelings. It has a thought process.
Hey, I'm the person who committed Geth genocide in Mass Effect 3, so shush.
So let's say.
Geth are assholes.
For me, I'm going to say my opinion on this. I would be extremely intrigued with how they were feeling. Even if they were a copy of my consciousness, they're I know they're no longer me. I am me. They are not me. But they have my memories. They have a whole bunch of shit. So I would want to talk to them because how I see things is different than how they're now going to see things. And having a conversation with a copy of myself is just fascinating.
Well, here's the thing. If we look at this question from another sci-fi perspective, from the Star Trek transporter thing, and you got into some transporter accident like the Commander Riker did in that episode, and there's a duplicate.
You're going way off topic here.
No, it's a similar thing.
It's not though.
No,
it's not, because the teleporter is you're just creating a copy of yourself at a different location, and the original dies.
Yeah. But no,
now there only exists one one.
No, I'm specifically talking about the instant where the Riker ended up having two versions of himself, one that stayed on the planet and one that got rescued, and they lived two completely different lives. If I woke up one day if I lived in the Star Trek universe and I woke up one day in that scenario where all of a sudden, hey, this transporter accident duplicate of me has been living this alternative life, of course I would not kill it, because it's technically a human being at that point, because it is a living, conscious, actual sentient person. And then do like a similar thing, like, gee, but if it's just an android that some doctor said, oh, we're going to save your life, upload brain,
So
and then
Sarah,
I woke up consciousness,
I'm going to give you a scenario. How about there's an exact copy of you sitting in the bed across from you. You don't know if you're the android or if you're you, and they don't know the same information. Would you still have the same answer of kill it? Because you might be the android. What then?
Well, clearly the answer is to kill it.
Wow, Alex.
No, clearly the answer is you go to a loved one, give them the gun, and then you both do that scene where it's like, he's the fake one, kill him!
Thanks for meeting up with me with my giant robot parts.
New PTSD victim.
Okay. So how would I determine?
Can you determine?
Welcome to Logical Paradoxes 101.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, isn't it?
Twist
it's not really that tough.
It could theoretically be
but
a way
no,
to
it's a moral decision.
Like, let's assume that it's like Schrodinger's android, I guess. I'd be like, I'd see it
as long as you're in the room, you exist. What?
No. Like, I don't know if I'm the android or the real me, and I don't know if the person next to me is the android or the real me. Mm-hmm. And there would technically be a way to do it, like, unless like you're like a perfect organic synthesis thing where you're like everything is organic and you actually have flesh and bone. But if you're like an actual like mechanical android, I would honestly cut into flesh, see what happens into my own flesh, and if I bleed and see bone.
Have you guys seen Ex Machina?
Yeah.
By the way, listeners, I'm a little crazy.
So spoiler alert for people listening if they have not seen Ex Machina, but at some point, the guy that's sent to the house to test the AI to see if he could tell if it's an AI or if he can't tell if it's an AI, eventually starts questioning whether or not he himself is an AI. And he does that where he is standing in front of a mirror and he cuts into himself to see if he has android parts.
Yeah, that would be exactly what I'd do.
But here's the thing, though. If we're explaining this entire scenario where AI is up to the point where it can replicate the human brain or calculate exactly like the human brain, what's to say that science or technology hasn't evolved where it isn't necessarily organic blood, but from your perspective, it looks like skin and bones? Mm-hmm. What's to say it's not some sort of nanotechnology that looks like skin, that looks like bones, that has blood, that reacts like...
Robin Williams was a Bionic Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I could...
Bicentennial, yeah.
I honestly don't think my psyche could handle it. And I think both versions, the real me, whichever one is the real me and whichever one's the fake me, would probably commit suicide together.
See, that's the really unfortunate thing that you take that.
I would just have sex with myself.
Well, no, it's.
I could manage the world that way.
As narcissistic as I am, I would just have sex with myself.
Yeah, actually, you could do that too.
That is a tempting idea, but
because at that point it poses the biggest question in the universe: is that masturbation or is it incest?
But like
asking the right questions.
All the right questions.
Yes. But here, okay, so to explain why I think if I could not definitively tell which was the copy and which was the real me and why I'd commit suicide, is my individuality is, like most people probably, is very integral to who I am. I don't, the idea of not being unique unto myself, or not unique unto myself, but the idea of not being able to There's a word for it. I can't quite say it, but I can't quite think of it. But it
try to describe it.
It's essentially like
you want to be your own unique snowflake.
No. It's everyone's unique snowflake, quote unquote.
No one's unique.
No, I know, but
everyone just likes to think they are.
Yeah.
Snow all looks the same up until you look closely at it. So
even then, science has already proven that snowflakes are just a fractal pattern, and there is like a heavy mathematical chance that other snowflakes will look like other snowflakes.
No,
just
that's
like the
true,
human
but-
genome. Just like the human genome.
I know,
like-
I know, but like the analogy, or not the analogy,
Yeah.
but the symmetry of it is everything looks the same up until you look very closely at it, and then you can see the detail and the beauty in it.
Yeah.
But, like,
Everything is bland until you can see the beauty.
Just real quick. While we are on the subject of Star Trek and transport technology, I remember there was one episode where I think there was a doctor on the planet who was like suffering from some terminal illness, and they figured out that they had like a copy of her blueprint, if you will, and, transport logs. So they just used that to beam her back before she died or something like that, just to be able to like cure her of whatever the heck it was that she contracted while she was on the planet. What do you guys think of that?
Well, that's still the same question. Is like
That's
is
fucked
the
up.
transporter technology destroy? Because inherently, the way the transport technology works is it destroys the you that it's targeting, turns it into data, and then recreates you with the atoms at the target at where you're trying to go. So that's literally destroying you and rebuilding you in like almost an instant, in just a few seconds. So that's quite literally kills you and then creates a copy.
Yeah,
Like-
there's another theory about how transportation works, and it's just our understanding of time. And the reason why we haven't figured out transport technology is because humans don't understand time fully yet. Because it's kind of a
But that's a different
human
type
creation.
of
Plank time.
that's a different type of transporter technology. What you're talking
No,
there
it's
would
the
be
same.
wormhole
You're
technology.
moving one thing from one space. It's time and space are intertwined, so you can't affect
Well,
one
yeah.
without affecting or using the other.
But the way transporter technology in the Star Trek thing is it
No, that's a
literally destroys
theory
you.
on how it works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a theory. Like there have
No,
been
that's
books
what
and
it's
books
been-
explained on how it works.
Yeah.
Like that there have been shows from the 80s who thought that it worked from some sort of mini time holes. Then TNG like the thing with Star Trek and its technology is that
Very
it's
continuity incorrect.
well, it's
Or very-
every different series of Star Trek either has a different way of explaining it, and they retcon it, or they just do a different take on how it works. So you can't really nail down exactly how it works based off of Star Trek, but based in real science and the study of like people are trying to figure out how to do, because like a lot of things that Star Trek said, in the 70s and the 80s are coming true today. So, like, it's interesting. So, like, when will be the point where we actually get, like, real transporter technology? And the biggest hurdle in real-world applications is time. Because to move one thing, like, how energy moves and how light moves is all based on time.
Yeah. But
So,
but back to what I was saying, like the way if I did wake up in that scenario where I saw a duplicate of myself, regardless of how that duplicate was made, and I couldn't tell if I was the real one or the duplicate, my psyche would not be able to handle that discontinuity or that dysphoria and disconnect between who am I and what am I, and all of a sudden having to be thrown into that paradigm of trying to figure out which is the real one based off of metaphysical data that we can't test.
But at that
And-
point, does it matter which one's the real one?
Hell yeah.
in your opinion, it does. Because
For me, it does.
Yeah, and in my opinion, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because the way that I look at it is that even if that scenario happened, I would stare at the other version of me, but I am still me. I don't care if I am quote-unquote the real one. I am still in control of my body. I still have free will. I still can go out and do whatever I want. Whether or not, then that poses paradoxical questions of like, well, what if the other one goes out and commits crimes and then you get framed for it, and then who's the one that actually did it type bullshit. That's a whole different bag of worms. But in the sense of like, I am still me. Mm-hmm. So like,
I don't think the other version of you would go and commit crimes just to fuck with you.
I don't know. There's like the whole evil twin paradox or whatever. Yeah. Like that's
a completely different thing.
But yeah, it still fits into this whole topic.
Yeah, well,
and that's why I said that's for another.
It's a different
time.
Scenario.
But in that instance, I wouldn't care. I would be like baffled and kind of like trying to understand and grasp the whole thing. But like, I wouldn't be like, who's the real me? I'd just be like, how is this possible?
I guess,
Doctor.
If my android clone had a goatee on it,
then he's the evil one.
Yes, clearly.
Like Bender and Flexo.
Star Trek logic, he's the evil one.
Bender and Flexo.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up here, and viewers, if you have any nice little tidbits about this conversation, feel free to leave it in the comment section or tweet us or whatever. So make sure to follow us on social media at TOONDISE on Facebook. You can get to us on there, and also with the hashtag ToonLounge on Twitter. You can also ask questions there. And if you're a fan of TOONDISE, please make sure to support us on Patreon at patreon.com/ToonDice. And on behalf of Axel, Sean, and Sarah, I'm Christina. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the lounge.